Get away from her, you bitch!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We are a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska, and with me is...
your other host, Khalid Hussein.
What's up, Khalid Hussein?
I'm just kicking it. Everything's groovy. Another fun week in sunny LA. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got right now.
That's all you got, yeah. just cutting through the witty banter.
I don't know, man. Stuff happened, other stuff didn't. It's life. I just can't think of anything specific right now.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just pumped to jump into our topic today, honestly.
Pumped to jump. That is the name of the episode.
Yeah, I should welcome. Is it? It's not the name of the episode. Wow.
Did I zag a little too much?
You zagged. You zagged when you should have zigged.
Okay, well, we are where we are. Let's keep it moving.
All right, let's go. Welcome back to part 2 of our XENOMANIA series. Khalid, you ready? You excited to be back in this universe?
I am so excited. Oh, I'm really, really ready to just dive into it with this one today. But before we do,
we have not 1, not 3, but 2 special guests for y'all.
Weird way to roll that one out.
Thanks, Khalid. Joining us are kind of like a superstar lineup of guests. Honestly, we have Nicole Praska, wife of the podcast, Friendenstien, as Khalid might say, or Stein. Sorry, Friendenstien. I'll never get that right. Never get that right. Nicole has appeared. I think I counted about 6 different times. She's on episode 6 on Jennifer's Body, 21 Love and Monsters, 30 Psycho Gorman, 36 the Star Trek Man Trap, 50th episode special, and the number 55 on Barbarian. Welcome back.
Wow.
That was an intro.
That was an intro.
No notes.
It's been so many times that I've almost forgotten.
Yeah, it's your regular basically.
Mm-hmm. I hold the world record for most guest appearances on Frankenstein's podcast.
I think so.
Give me my Guinness.
Guinness.
Take that to the bank.
Yeah, call Guinness. Also joining us, everybody, is Erik Kollasch Friendenstien of the podcast, who's been on 2 episodes. So you got a little catching up to do, Erik.
Yeah.
Number 22 on The Thing and number 33, our Dimension double feature on Phantoms and the Faculty. Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, Erik?
I just got to
good. It's great.
You should have seen the smile on his face when you called him and Nikki like Hall of Fame guests or whatever. Like,
he's so proud.
You really just did a number for his ego, so thank you.
Coming back for the hat trick, I feel good. Feel very proud.
I love that double feature. That was a great one.
The Dimension one?
So good.
Yeah. Phantoms. So, I still stand by it. Hashtag cultify Phantoms.
Oh, man.
One of your many pet causes that is not an official Frankenstein's podcast stance.
No, it's official. Erik's on board.
You're drunk.
I'm on board.
Power.
See, I am drunk with power. That's true. That's what happens when you have like 6 episodes of a podcast out there in the world.
God, that is a flex. I respect it. I take back everything I said.
Yeah, just wait till you get there, Khalid.
I'm but a wee lad looking forward to the day I can say I have 66 episodes in the can.
Seriously, though, there's 1 episode you weren't on, Khalid, so I'm ahead of you.
All right, Joe, take a sick day. What do you want me to say?
Just not going to let you live it down.
All right, well, my cross to bear.
Yeah. Hey, Khalid, I got a question for you.
Oh,
do you now?
Did you say, oh boy?
I did.
What do you call an alien with no eyes?
What?
Alan.
Oh,
I actually saw that one coming.
Wow.
You didn't tell me in advance, but I was like, oh, you remove I and it's going to be... I thought you were going to say Tim Allen. Which
Well, that would be
better.
kind of good, yeah.
Eric, if you can just take over recording duties for a minute, I'm going to go kick a window just like right through.
I gotcha.
Oh, God.
We'll throw Yasser on there.
I'm just glad there are witnesses here for just to see like how he does me. You did me wrong here, Joe. That's all I'm going to say.
And that's a segue. Khalid, intro our topic.
For the record, you can't just say that's a segue and then not offer a segue.
No, the pun was a segue to alien stuff.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it is your bad.
So today we are talking about the 1986 James Cameron sci-fi horror film Aliens, and I've got a synopsis from our homeboy Google that goes a little something like this. After floating in space for 57 years, Lieutenant Ripley's shuttle is found by a deep space salvage team. Upon arriving at LV-426, the Marines find only one survivor, a 9-year-old girl named Newt. But even these battle-hardened Marines with all the latest weaponry are no match for the hundreds of aliens that have invaded the colony.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Oh, okay. I'm excited. I'm excited to dig in this one, you guys. Before we get into our thoughts on the movie, I wanted to ask our two guests. So Nicole and Eric, just what is your sort of history and I guess relationship to the Alien franchise? Like, how has it impacted you as maybe a pop culture fan, or maybe it's newer to you? So, but what do you think of it, Eric? Why don't you start?
Oh, thank you, Joe. I think sorry, I'm a little too formal right now.
Too excited.
I'm too excited. Yeah, Khalid brewed some chai and I'm just jacked up on caffeine right now.
It's like one black Lipton tea bag's worth. Jacked up.
Oh, I also had a coffee before that.
Okay, he is jacked up.
I'm jacked up. Yeah, so I think the first time I watched them, I think I've only seen them once before. I watched 1, 2, and 3 all in a row. It was when I was a kid. I actually went to Blockbuster and I remember seeing the old DVD covers with the eggs on them. Mm-hmm. And I just begged my parents if I could watch all 3 if I could get all 3. And they're being the loving parents that they are. Ken and Karen Kollasch, shout out to you. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And this is actually very fitting that we're doing this on Mother's Day based on the end of this film. We'll get to that. But I just remember, I think I watched them back to back, at least maybe 1 and 2 back to back, and then the third one another day. But I absolutely loved it. I mean, I was probably 13, prime age to just soak in this sci-fi action alien fun fest. So yeah, I loved it from the beginning, and I haven't really watched it since then. So it's been really fun to go back and also listening to your other podcast and hearing all the fun details behind it.
Awesome. Yeah, you have a similar story to mine. I remember vividly renting these movies from the Blockbuster too.
Did Ken and Karen give you the green light?
They also came over and helped me with that. Yeah.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Wait, were you 13 though? Or were you younger?
I was younger.
Oh my god, you have to admit that. I'm also flabbergasted.
Yeah, you watched some really messed up stuff when you were 7.
I did, but look what
Did you say 7?
Oh my god,
7. I don't know, maybe. I feel like I remember renting them around, when did Alien Resurrection, the fourth one, come out? 97. It was when Resurrection was coming out. Yeah, 97. I would have been 7 when that one came out. Yep. Yeah, because I saw the trailers and wanted to watch them. Yeah. So, well, there you go. Nicole, how about you? By the way, happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
We are recording on Mother's Day today. This will drop later, but it is Mother's Day. Yeah. So it is very fitting. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that too. My experience, so I didn't watch these until I was an adult, like a normal person.
Thank you.
And only because Joe was like, we should watch Alien. And then you were like, yeah, we should watch Aliens next. We haven't gotten to 3, and I don't know if I want to, based on what you've told me. Maybe Eric can chime in about that. But and then I saw Prometheus in the theater with you, which is totally...
That's right. You saw that before watching the first 2, didn't you?
Did I?
I don't know. Maybe I made you watch the other ones before going to see Prometheus.
I mean, you were like, let's do that for movie night.
It wasn't much of an arm twist.
No. Yeah. So that's kind of just I think that was, I don't know, when did Prometheus come out? It was way longer than a couple of years ago. Everything feels like a couple of years ago to me.
2012.
Oh my God. What?
Don't think about it too hard.
I'm not doing the math right now. I can't. At least 10 years. That's wild. Okay.
You did.
I was going to say 2 years and I'm totally wrong.
It's a little more than that, yeah.
But I feel like we watched it in the old house.
It was in the old house, yeah.
Were we in the old house then? We weren't. We weren't. We didn't buy that house until 2014.
Well, we watched the movies later than Prometheus then.
Okay then.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, that was way too much into our timeline for anybody.
It's inside baseball. It's for all the Frankenheads that want to know the lore.
As Khalid likes to say, how the sausage is made.
Khalid likes to say, I said that once like 50 episodes ago, Joe. Let it go.
I will never. All right. So that with a little background for us, Khalid, this is your first time seeing this, correct?
It is indeed.
Because I know like both me and Eric have seen it a long time ago. Nicole's seen it before as well. So as the one with the freshest eyes, Khalid, what did you think of this?
Well, I gotta say, it was spectacular. Yeah, I don't know what else you expect me to say. It's Jimmy Cameron, man. Our boy don't miss. He is just laser focused. When he wants to give you an exciting sci-fi adventure, like he knows how to do that. And man, it was just really, really thrilling to like watch some. Like, I consider myself a big James Cameron fan, but I'm also not like slavishly devoted to like watching somebody's entire filmography because I like one or two things of theirs. But every time I like find a new Cameron movie, and there's not that many, so like I probably have like one or two left that I haven't seen. But even still, like watching a new James Cameron movie, or new to me anyway, every time it's just like a great reminder of like why this man has like commanded the box office for his entire adult life. It is so cool to see him take what was already just like iconic imagery and characters and a world that was established by another creator and like truly elevate it. I mean, we'll get into the details, but yeah, like you can't ignore the leveling up that this movie does in terms of scale, in terms of characterization, in terms of mythology for the aliens. It really it's everything a sequel should be, honestly. It's bigger, it's louder, and it's so confident as it's doing it. And I was just, by the end of it, I was like exhausted by the fact that it was 1 a.m., but also just by the sheer spectacle I was like just delivered. So yeah, I loved it.
Love to hear it. Nicole, what do you think?
Yeah, it's great. It's a good ride. It's a really good companion. Like Khalid already said, it's a really good sequel, and I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be terrified, this is a good movie to be terrified by. And like the effects are all really cool and really well done. I know you'll get into that later, and so it feels real. We watched this last night, and I didn't have like a dream about aliens necessarily, but it put my mind in like such a funk that like I woke up at 1:30 in the morning, our time, not at the same time Khalid finished watching this probably. But anyway, and I was like, I don't know, I'd had some sort of bad dream that like woke me up. It was like intense enough. So it just put my mind in like an intense mood for like the next several hours. So that's how compelling it is.
Effective, right?
Effective, yes.
Yeah. How about you, Eric? Just some initial thoughts on this most recent viewing of Aliens.
I thought it was really fun to see it like right after I had just seen, Avatar 2, The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
It was just really cool to see the parallels and like a lot of the similar ideas and themes that he's playing with, that Cameron's playing with the military and like how they act and just the team, like almost family mentality. And I love the little girl. Like, I gotta say, like, that was such a great addition, like to create this piece of like, humanity and like sentimentality that wasn't really in the first one. I guess they had that with the cat, but this was much more, I don't know, just more elevated.
Well, and as we'll get into, I would say probably with the motherhood themes.
Oh,
yes.
We're gonna dig into that. But first, what did you think, Joe?
Oh, thanks for asking, Khalid. I absolutely adore this movie. I do waver back and forth between 1 and 2, which one is like my favorite, but I'm almost like, do I really even want to just choose? I mean, they're both so great in like very different ways. Like you're right. Like as a sequel, this like takes those like unique concepts and just elevates it and puts it in a different way. When we were watching the movie, I was thinking like, it's sort of like what I think sometimes we as viewers would always say or like yell at our screen to a character who's returning to the setting of a horror flick. Like there's always in a sequel where the main character like goes back to the scene of like what happened, or it goes back to like what caused them so much horror, and we're always like, bring the army with you, and then she like she does, and it mows the xenomorphs, like mows the army down in this case, or this colonial marines, and like so it really just escalates that's the stakes and like escalates all of that of what the power or like the sheer like magnitude of what the xenomorphs are capable of doing. I will say, and I think Nicole and I both talked about this last night too, they do make it seem like the xenomorphs are easier to kill individually in this movie than the first one for sure. But like, I mean, they just shoot them at different times, but you're also not worrying as much about like the acid blood going through the spaceship and like causing your oxygen to go away and everything. So there's different levels of tension and different kinds of tension. So it's just, I don't know, they just do a really expert job at kind of making this something new and something different and expanding on all that mythology, and building the mythology, which is really cool. So I appreciate it for so many reasons. And it's just, it's so fun to watch. That'd be the practical effects, the action, the story in general. It's a blast.
Also, this one's cooler. I mean, because you got the army and they've got all like the big guns.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, like cool imagery. Like
the mech suit.
Like in the first one, like they weren't. Yeah, the mech suit. Yes, cool. Like there's just a lot of cool in this movie where like Alien's really awesome for what it is. Although, like I will say that I don't know, we'll get it. Whatever. I was thinking about this and like the chest burster scene in this one is like not as like holy shit because it's not the first time you've seen it. You're like kind of expecting that to happen at some point. So I feel like the original has that going for it where you have no idea what you're getting into. But
yeah, that's true. Like truly iconic moment.
Cooler because like they came prepared, and so it's like this like battle.
The one thing that I thought was I was trying to pay close attention to that scene when the chest burster comes out of the cocooned person, and they do cut to like the shot of like Ripley kind of witnessing it happen and her like reaction to seeing that happen again, and just like the reliving of the trauma. Like I feel like that was just a really great like acting moment where she didn't really say anything, but just like it was all on her face, and I thought that was a really powerful moment.
Absolutely.
Before we like go into the story, I think Khalid and all of us have been kind of laying the praises at James Cameron. I think it'd be interesting to just note that, I don't know how much you guys know about this, but the production behind this was like super fraught with difficulties.
How so?
So James Cameron was a relatively new on the scene director at the time, didn't have a whole lot of clout. He'd done Terminator, but still wasn't like a household name.
Right.
And so the production of this was all in England. And there was a massive clash of just like mentalities of like work habits. And James Cameron was like I think he's even reflected now about how he was kind of a little bit of a dick on set back when he was younger. And he was like, we have deadlines, we got to go fast, we got to go. And like the British crew were like, no, let's just have our tea. Like they wanted to slow down and like take it easy. And he was worried about the deadlines and they weren't. They also didn't really respect him because they thought he was just this new guy who didn't really know what they were doing. So like there was a lot of instances where Cameron has talked about how he's like, I want it done this way. And someone on set would be like, okay, and then do it a completely different way. So there was a lot of, he like fired somebody and then like everybody walked off set and he had to have like this whole like sit down conversations, like we got to work together. And so it was this really like a difficult, like challenging thing. And I think it was kind of an uphill battle for Cameron to fight, like not only against his own crew, but also the studio who didn't have a whole lot of faith in him in general too. And I think his wife was on the production team as a producer as well. And there was an element where she was there because she knew what she was doing, but like a lot of the crew treated her as like, you're just here because you're James Cameron's wife, you're the director's wife. But so she didn't get a lot of respect on set. But I know that from what I've heard, like Sigourney Weaver and like Bill Paxton and some of the actors were definitely like saying like, oh, he was, like Sigourney Weaver had a lot of clout coming from Alien 1, especially. I know she was pretty supportive of like what Cameron was trying to do as well. So it sounds like a lot of interesting sides in it. And ultimately like the fact that all that came together to make this is kind of spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's amazing that this movie was even made. I mean, he had to get her on board too, initially.
Yeah.
And that was its own battle in a way. And then like, yeah, everything you said. Yeah. We were reading about that and it's kind of amazing. This movie.
It took 7 years, like 79 was the first one. And this was 86.
Yeah.
Like the
So-
production took 7 years, or you're just saying it
No,
took
just
7 years to make
just
a
to
sequel?
just to get a sequel on like getting made.
Was
getting
there any
started
other like holdup, or was it just that like James came with like a good enough story that he pitched and they went from there?
I think there was. I didn't read too much into why it wasn't earlier. I think there was like efforts to try and do it earlier, but I think there was just a lot of cold feet of like the studio being unsure that they wanted to like even pursue this as a franchise or pursue it as something to continue on, or like if sci-fi was viable at that moment. And then I think there was questions of like Sigourney Weaver coming back and being too expensive too.
Was she
Um,
like? I guess Alien probably made her
Yeah,
a bigger name,
So yeah, I mean, she got paid exponentially more for every movie.
as she should.
Yeah.
She is really the
Absolutely.
bedrock of this thing outside of the Xenomorph.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was the thing, is they were like, Cameron was basically like, without her, like this movie wouldn't exist without her. Like if she had refused.
Oh yeah, I hate sequels where like there's no returning characters and it just
Yeah.
like there's like an Inside Man 2 and it just feels like wrong because none of the Inside Man crew is there.
Yeah, that seems silly.
Yeah. No, I am very interested by all of this. Like it's fascinating because it feels like, you know, we're so far removed from the days of like none of us were born when James Cameron wasn't a big director, you know. So it's wild to think about like, yeah, there was a time when like people probably second guessed him and he had to like move heaven and earth just to make it happen and get the like respect that he was trying to demand before he was proven. So yeah, I mean, I say like I always like it when a creator has like limitations put on them because like I'm so curious to see like what they can make like in spite of it. And so knowing all of that now, like Aliens just seems even better in my mind.
I have to imagine too, like thinking about James Cameron in this movie being like stressed about deadlines and trying to get things done on time. Like that's also, I'm sure, like having like been interviewed now, how he reflects back, he's like, oh, I was like, I was intense and back then, but I feel like now he's at the point where he has the kind of clout where he's like, I don't wait for, or the studio waits for me rather than me like keeping to studio deadlines. You know, like how long did it take for Avatar 2 to come out? Like,
Oh yeah, it was like basically since Avatar, which was like 2008 or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Like he lives in his entirely own constructed world and does whatever he wants. Like kids have like I heard this like anecdote that like these like producers who have been on Avatar 2 since it was announced, like literally in 2008 or whatever, that their kids have like become adults since the new one was made, and like just being able to track all of that over the course of making one movie is like wild.
Yeah. So, and a long way, come a long way.
I mean, I'm happy to see it. You know, it's a hell of a beginning, and I feel like we've yet to see even like his most impressive feat yet. I'm pretty sure he's going to just build a giant like one of those like what is it, Crimson or Pacific Rim type robots. He's gonna build one of those soon, just for realsies.
In real life.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was not sure where you're going with this.
Can't wait
I
for
don't know
it.
why I wanted to say like Crimson Peak, but I was trying to say Pacific Rim.
It's another Del Toro movie.
Oh, is it?
Kaiju.
Yeah.
Okay, well I did that on purpose. Yeah.
So, okay. So, Aliens, as we know, and like pop culturally, is kind of considered one of the greatest sequels of all time. Catapulted Cameron into the spotlight, made this into a franchise. Like it's after this movie, we got the comics, games, more sequels. It was a viable property at that point. I also have some statistics. The British Film Institute says it's one of the 10 greatest action films of all time. It was up for an Academy Award again. This one was too. I don't know if it won, but it's similar in like we talked about Alien, how influential and how important the movie has become like over the course of like our culture, pop culture. Why do you guys, and maybe I'll bring Erik in for this one since I haven't heard from you in a little bit. Why do you think, what do you think makes this such a pop culturally significant piece?
I think it mainly because of like the epic scale of it. and the fact that like it was a sequel. You know, I honestly, when I was rewatching this, I felt like the first half was kind of slow, a little slow building the characters, but because of that, it made that first initial contact hit so much harder when you see how tough these Marines are and how within like a few minutes, like a bunch of them died and they got destroyed. And that, I mean, from there on to the end of the movie, it's just like pure action. And I think that his ability to like sustain that and make this like big crescendo at the end was so, it just punches so hard that it's hard, I think, for many action movies to do something like that, to pull it off and keep you engaged and interested with the characters on top of that. So, I mean, and the Queen, I think the Queen is a huge part of it too. Like just that final showdown was so cool to see. Like he kind of built upon, you know, we've never seen that before. We don't know like where the eggs come from. And it was just cool to like build on the lore and the creatures beyond it. So I think it you come into this movie with an understanding of what it is. And he builds upon it in such a fun way and assumes the knowledge of the audience and like how, you know, he doesn't treat you like you're stupid. And that's the fun of it.
That's great points. And I think alongside expanding the mythology and the lore, like it's interesting to note, like coming into like as a sequel to Alien, like it's like the first one's like a pretty much a straight up horror movie, right? Like a haunted house in outer space kind of movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so that was, you're looking at the first movie and saying that was a horror movie. Now let's like kind of hop genres a bit. Like it's still like has a 1 foot firmly in the horror genre, but like how can we like change that and like do something, bring something completely fresh, a fresh take, like a narrative take in that sense. Like it's also an action movie. And I think that's people always point that out now, like it's a well-known fact, like, oh, Alien's a horror, Aliens is the action. But like I think at the time, or even just thinking about doing that, like a sequel to a horror movie and making an action movie was a very unique idea, something that could have been a gamble.
No, absolutely. I mean, I, for one, just think that the pivot is, I think it was really smart on his part, just because if he tried to stay in that horror lane and just tried to one up Ridley in that element, I think that it would have just suffered from comparisons to the first one. Whereas, I don't know, everybody always kind of talked about Alien and Aliens as like separate movies, almost like irrespective of each other, despite being a direct sequel. And I really understand that now when I've seen it, and now even as I talk about it, it's just so hard to think about any of the positives that I'm talking about in Aliens that like Alien could have done and gotten away with. They really are just trying completely different things, albeit Aliens is building off of Alien, but like in such a very specific way. The vision is so specifically different that it just doesn't feel right to say that like Alien in retrospect should have done something more to like reach those heights. I don't think that it was ever meant to. And the fact that it pivoted was part of why we liked it so much.
Great point.
Yeah, great points. Agreed.
So should we get into the movie itself?
I think we should.
I mean, kind of have been, but I just want to start talking about the actual
scene by scene.
The plot itself, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I'm definitely in agreement with Eric that the first half is like so deliberately kind of just like slow, and like obviously like there's like the tension between Weyland-Yutani and Ripley about like she is trying so hard to explain to these people that the what's happening on the colony and like with these aliens is like not something you should joke about. Like you absolutely need to like treat it like it's like a world-ending threat and get it out of the way. And it's like, yeah, we just saw
believe women.
For real, especially when they're not especially, but also when they're talking about xenomorphs. But seriously, like it's such a like frustrating real thing that you're watching happen unfold. And while it's slow, like I love how like in retrospect, like after seeing the entire movie, like yeah, he was really just like dangling that string in front of us of like, he knows we want something to happen. We just don't realize how much of something we're about to get. And it's going to be like an unrelenting 45 minutes of just like anxiety and just gore and violence. And it's laid out so masterfully that like, I'm almost like, no, yeah, if anything, the first half could have been even slower just because like I am depleted by the end.
Speak for yourself. I needed more. More action.
Eric's fiended. I guess we're going to watch Aliens 3.
Oh boy.
Well, one of the other interesting things about that first part too is, not just her frustration with not being believed, but also the post-traumatic stress that she's suffering from, and how that was actually pretty well done. Waking up in night sweats, night terrors, and they didn't really shy away from that. And I thought that was really great and well done.
Yeah, I loved that opening scene when she's first waking up in the hospital and they're like, "Oh, you've been sleeping for 57 years." And she starts to have that panic attack, and the way that they shot it, the directing and the editing, I got tense just from that. And I'm like, okay, it lets you know you're in good hands, directing wise. And yeah, it shocked me. Just even I had completely forgot about it. So it was fun.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they mention Ripley having a daughter in the first movie?
So it's no, I don't think they did in the first movie, but so did you watch the extended version then?
I'm not sure. We have a DVD of the first. It's a quadrilogy.
Yeah, and so in the version you watched of the Aliens, did she talk about having a daughter in this one?
Yeah, they showed the video.
So
in
the theatrical, that's right. In the theatrical version, the one that you would find on streaming. So if you watch in Stars, I think is where you can stream it. It's the theatrical version, and that is not in the final theatrical cut. That's in the extended cut. Yeah, directors. Yeah.
But the whole thing about her wanting to take care of Newt hinges on that.
Yeah. No, I think we agree. Like there's other things that probably could be cut in from the director's cut, but that's something that should have stayed. It's interesting.
Yeah, the whole fight with the Queen makes more sense because of it.
I think that in that scene when Newt asks her, like, "Do you have a daughter?" I think that was probably in the theatrical one, and she mentions that she did. But yeah, without seeing that photo of that old woman and just. Yeah. It's like going full Interstellar on it and like seeing they lived an entire life and she's older than you and died and she lived a full happy life and you never saw her again.
Yeah, which is honestly such a specific type of gut punch that I don't know, as a mother, as a parent, I can only imagine what sympathizing with that must have felt like.
Yeah, and so on top of her trauma, just all the trauma.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. And the idea of confronting trauma is a stated theme in the movie that they've talked about from behind the scenes. But there's an interesting, I don't know who said it. I found it somewhere, but they meant that for it to be a bit of an allegory for Vietnam War veterans too, where the idea of, no, I don't want to go back and do it. I don't want to go back and see what I saw before. I don't want to go back and do this again. But there's a need to kind of confront that in a sense. And so Ripley's absolutely not, I'm going back, but she's continually tempted by the offer of going back and ultimately goes, because there's this draw to it because of what she'd faced and what she's going through and what she's continuing to experience every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I liked how
well done.
I like that line from Paul Reiser where he's like, "Oh, you're back, you're working now?" And she's like, "Yeah, down on the decks," and he's like, "Oh yeah, well, you could keep wasting your time and doing that, or, being super condescending, or, you could come help us save the universe." So it was kind of a funny jab from him.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, nothing wrong with it. We're not going wrong with that." Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. God, yeah. He sucks so much.
But I'm glad we brought up Paul Reiser because I do think that was a good step up from having it be an android again.
Absolutely.
I thought I had forgotten if he was or not. And there was moments where I was like, is he an android too?
And I remember you brought it up while we were watching it, and I was like, no, I'm glad he's not an android because that takes away the responsibility from the corporation and the type of actual living, breathing people that will do this to you and make you go through these harrowing, horrifying things for what Ripley accuses him of, for a percentage.
Mm-hmm.
It's these abstract numbers that they're chasing, and God, is it like I kind of brought up in the Alien discussion, it is such an evergreen thing to bring up, now that we're just in the throes of a late stage capitalist cash grab from every awful person in power. It's just that much more damn, James, you really just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, and her line about at least like, like at least the aliens, like as far as we know, wouldn't like sell each other out to like for a profit or whatever. For, like you said, percentage. So
yeah, when she did that, I was just like, oh my God. Because like that's the thing, is James Cameron as a director, untouchable. But like as a writer, you can give the knocks here and there, like some characters can sound like cardboard cutouts, or like it can be like a little blunt at times. But when he wants to get a point across, man, it hits. And it's just like, it's not fair, honestly. Like you shouldn't be the king of like mech suit fights and like really sharp dialogue.
Yeah, that brings to mind one other line when she was like, well, why don't we just fly away from here and nuke the damn place? And they're like, oh, this place is a high value. And she's like, they can bill me. Did you guys have any other favorite quotes from this movie?
Oh, we definitely did.
Elbows and assholes, right?
Assholes and elbows. Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? Is that like a contraction from a longer phrase, or like that's just the line that they say to each other?
What line?
Assholes and elbows.
Oh God, that line.
I love it.
So I was telling this to Khalid. I texted him prior to you guys watching the movie and just said assholes and elbows, and he had no clue what I was talking about. But I used to say that as a kid randomly to people, and none of my friends got it until they finally watched Aliens now that they're older.
Yeah, a bunch of weirdos that didn't have the same sci-fi horror action movie experience as you at 7.
Well, I just assumed that that's just kind of a military slang. Like I'm like, that must be a thing they say because it just sounds so lived
natural. I think that.
What does that mean to you when someone says that? What's it short for? Because Joe asked me this earlier.
I was thinking it means clean, like keep them clean.
Oh,
that makes sense actually.
Like dot your T's, cross your I's type of thing.
Nicole, didn't you say that line was in Full Metal Jacket too?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not just so it is. I think it is a military thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so it's not that. But
well, I mean, at least it's not the only movie that has that. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So
you know what? I noticed. Okay, speaking of Kubrick, I saw another little homage, and I'm sure it was on purpose. Was the shot of the kid riding that big wheel through the ship. I love that. Down low on a fucking steady cam.
Colony to get on that tricycle. Yeah. I mean,
director's cut.
I don't know.
That's a director's cut. This is a director's cut scene too, by the way. It's cut in the theatrical.
Did you guys watch the theatrical?
We watched the theatrical this one because I didn't have the disc with us, so we watched the Stars version. But yeah, I remember I know I've seen the director's version before, so
media.
I have it. Someone borrowed it from me and hasn't returned it.
You're too good of a friend.
Teasing.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's that part is not in the theatrical cut also, but that the establishing the colony.
Should have seen my face.
Yeah, no, she was so confused because she didn't remember that. Yeah, but that is a good part.
I mean, is that a Shining reference, or is it just anytime we see a kid on a tricycle, Kubrick just owns that?
I mean, the way they shot it was steady cam, low angle, like down a hallway. It's got to be.
All right.
How could
Erik has spoken? I don't.
Official Frankenstein podcast stance.
He's got juice. He's a Hall of Famer.
Speaking of one-liners, though, there were a few other good ones. I feel like, Nicole, you'd pointed out a bunch of Ripley ones that you really liked throughout it. What was the one? Oh, happy to disappoint you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. When Burke was like, I'm disappointed in you, Ripley. And she's like, well, I'm happy to disappoint you. Like,
yeah, that was amazing.
Love it.
And, or like, just like it was subtle, but when like Bill Paxton's freaking out and she's like, you got to get it together because I'm just sick of your bullshit.
Yeah.
Like she's just so exasperated with him.
We are all Bill Paxton in this movie. Okay.
He was so good.
If you say you wouldn't react like him to everything that happened, I'm sorry, you're a liar. That's no, he was the only one that like, I'm so glad. Like you almost never get this in action movies, but like just the person that is perpetually shitting themselves, screaming that they're all gonna die. Like that is a valid point.
Although I love when they point out that the kid survived, that Newt survived longer than 17 days with no weapons and something else, like nothing.
Well, she's not a badass Marine cowboy, okay? Like he can't. We always knew that Paxton wasn't gonna sit in a hole for 2.5 weeks and shut up. Like no. And that is his right as an American. It's these aliens that are infringing.
Oh, I do also like the line. It's not a Ripley line, but
Vasquez?
have you ever been mistaken for a man? Have you?
Oh yeah,
No, have you?
so good.
It's just
She had a lot of
delivered
good
so
lines.
well.
Vasquez was such a great addition. Oh my god, she was. Everything up to her final just badass moments in the vent were so great. Even just what was the last line she says to the guy? Like,
Something about didn't she call him a dick?
yeah, like you're always a dick or something like
Yeah.
that. And like he's literally cradling her like wounded body.
That was so good.
As they like suicide bomb event.
Oh my god. So do you know much about the actor who plays Vasquez?
I do not.
Eric, do you know about this?
Nope.
Okay, so there's been like I feel like people have conflicting feelings about her. So her name is Jeanette Goldstein. She is not. They darkened her skin for the role.
Ooh.
To be fair, she is not like. She looks more white. She's like, I think Russian, Moroccan, and Brazilian. They said so. She has like ancestry like that's South American. But there's like been some kind of talk about like, oh, it could have been like somebody who's like full on like Latina or Latinx that had that role. And I think she has since spoken out about like how she would not take the role now if she was asked. And it sounds like for all intents and purposes, she's like a really great person in real life and does some cool stuff like advocacy wise now. But it's just an interesting thing to consider, but because that's just something that they did for her as a character or for her as an actor back then. But on the other side of that coin, people have kind of come to her in like cons and other things talking about how important the portrayal was as not only like somebody who is a person of color, but like kind of like a butch woman, for example, who wasn't like a joke in that sense.
I mean, obviously, like Cameron is famous with the Terminator, with Terminator 2, just like making a badass woman feel like convincingly badass and not just like, I'm coming in with my ponytail and some grit. Like he actually puts substance to the characterization and like gives you something to like root for. So like that's consistent with Vasquez's portrayal. But yeah, I guess like I definitely see the argument of like why it's kind of a bummer that like what is arguably one of the most like prominent female Latinx characters in sci-fi action at the time not being like, or at least being like their features being darkened and stuff like that. Like that is kind of a bummer. Like for me, seeing Yaphet Kotto in the first one, like that was like nice. That was like really great. And if it ended up being like, I don't know, Ben Kingsley or something, but like with like tan on or something, like that would be a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that like we talked about it a little bit, but yeah, like the whole idea of like bringing the Marines in, bringing in the heavy firepower, like it's that it all goes back to like the idea of like a sequel being bigger and better when like you do stuff like that. And Cameron just like really does such a good job of like not just bringing them in to just be the big guns, but like also raising the stakes in terms of like they're fighting a swarm of aliens now and they have to try and use like a tactical brain against like a creature that doesn't necessarily need to think like them, you know? So like, it's really this thing of like, they have all this firepower, all this strategy between them, and it still kind of amounts to nothing in the same way that like those engineers and stuff like that on the ship, like it's their home base. And yet like the alien took them all out so quick in the first movie.
Well, I will say it seems like the military, the Marines were like, they were prepared, but they weren't. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they were like rootin' tootin' loud. And I mean, most of that was Paxton, but the rest of them were pretty just like confusingly confident. Have they ever like, I know I asked this in the last podcast, but have they explained if there are other alien species in this world? Because it feels like this should be a bigger deal to them than it is.
It's up for debate. It's up for debate, I think, in the fan community. I feel like it's never, I don't know if it's expressly stated. I mean, you could argue like if you consider the Alien versus Predator canon, that predators have been encountered by humans at this point, for sure.
Well, I don't count any movies made after this. I just mean like by the time this movie came
the
around,
implication of this, like I don't know, like they say something about is this another bug hunt? So I don't know if like that means there's like non like sapient kind of creatures that they've encountered in a sense, or
I imagine they're referencing Starship Troopers.
Was Starship Troopers after this or before this? I think it had to be after.
It's got to be.
The movie came out afterward, but to Eric's point, I think Cameron actually didn't he ask them to read the book, Heinlein's book?
I don't know.
The cast. I feel like that was a fun fact I'd read, that he wanted the cast to read Starship Troopers before doing this movie.
Oh, the Marines were supposed to read Ripley's report, but did they?
That's true. That's a great point.
Yeah, they're all method. They were like, we're not reading, we're Marines. But the actual like, okay, so like when the action goes down and they put up those turrets and that night, like when they're sitting there and they're like, oh yeah, like rescue will come in 17 and a half days. We've got 4 turrets and we've loaded them up with bullets and they've got like sensors and stuff and we're just going to hunker down. And you're just like,
you feel safe almost.
Cameron really tricks you because you're just like, wait, is this about to be like a second and third act just told over 2.5 weeks? Like, is he really going to go for it? And he's so audacious, I believe it if he did. But then he does the actual thing that we were all expecting to happen. It shows how like that is not nearly enough precautions. And my favorite part of the movie, the turret's bullet count going down, the way that's how we see it for the most part, when you see their defenses slowly faltering one by one. Such an amazing way to depict it. All you're doing is watching a digital counter go down. Like from a production standpoint, that is like the most amazing like cheat, and it works so efficiently.
Yeah, it's almost scarier that you can't see them. Yeah. And you have no idea how many there are. You just see the little blips on the radar.
Yeah, I love it. He does the Jaws thing of like, it's not, we know what the xenomorph looks like. We know what it's capable of. So at this point, how do you make it scary? You make it like the least seen thing in the action. It's so much more about like resources being depleted, people reacting to blips coming closer and closer, not knowing if they're in the ground or above you. Like just all these like great little details that just really make you feel like you're in the room as confused as they are.
I love the way you describe it, Khalid. You sound like legit giddy. It's fun.
It's just like, you see good directing and like you can't help but like want to just point it out like that's good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Quick aside though, I just looked it up by the way. During shooting of the film, Cameron required the actors playing Space Marines to read Starship Troopers to understand their parts, and also cited it as an influence for the space drop, the term bug hunt, and the cargo loader exoskeleton. So good catch, cool. Eric.
I was honestly trying to make a joke.
It worked.
Joe went down the rabbit hole.
I did. I
appreciate that. Thank you for the validation.
I feel like thematically there's like a lot of things going on. We've kind of touched on like the themes of this movie. There's like motherhood, masculinity, femininity, war, confronting trauma. One of the things that I think you guys have pointed out that really is upped in this one, like Khalid, you mentioned like the kind of the corporatism thing and like the being like the grunts in the corporate grind, and like the sort of mistrust, like the general like anti-corporate attitude of this movie is like definitely upped from the last one too. But is there a specific theme that resonated most with you guys?
Nikki, why don't you go first?
Well, the motherhood theme, obviously. I would. God, when I saw this the first time, had we had our daughter yet? I don't think so. It resonated a lot more with me this time. I was like way more like, I knew what happened in the end, but I was still felt the anxiety every time. Like there's a scene with Newt, and I'm like, Newt better be okay. Newt better be okay. And like, and I don't know. I don't say what I would empathize with like the alien queen, but in a way, I appreciated just like the final showdown between Ripley and the queen, simply because it was like this like kind of battle of the moms in a way.
Two moms that have lost so much.
Yeah, whatever. Alien queen. But so yeah, that resonates the most with me, I would say. Which is why I was really disappointed that I don't know if did we see the extended version the first time?
Yes.
Okay, well, okay, because I barely remembered like Ripley having a daughter until I was reading the trivia, and then I was like, oh, we didn't see that again.
Yeah, it adds a lot. It adds a lot. It's silly that it was cut.
It's like, I mean, just to touch on it a little bit since you didn't see it, like really it is that interstellar thing like Erik was mentioning about like it's this weird sense of loss where it's like for the daughter and for Ripley, it's like the other person died. You know what I mean? Like her daughter got to live like a whole life and just assumed her mom died and like went through all these moments of like just like hallmarks and like big life moments without her mom. And now Ripley woken up has to be like confront that and be like, oh God, like my daughter is dead, but for her entire life I was dead. And that is, I mean, that's why sci-fi is so cool to me, you know, like that's why like this and Terminator Judgment Day, on top of having like strong, amazing, like female leads, also adds like this like high concept issue with their parenthood, you know, of like, you know, Linda Carter is like grappling with like the horrors that her son, she has to train her son to face, even though right now she could just give him a happy childhood, but like that does nothing for like what he's gonna grow up into. And it's like Cameron just like really is the guy to like tackle such like heady concepts while still giving you just like a nice like straightforward action experience.
And it also really
in the night.
Can I make it before Nikki? I know you have a great point to make. Can I make a small nitpick, Khalid? You said so Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, actually.
Oh, what am I?
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. That is actually that was actually a huge faux pas.
It's okay.
It was a necessary correction. Yeah. The line, I think when Ripley's trying to put Newt to bed in the med bay to sleep, and she says, I am not going to leave. She like promises that she's not going to leave her. And that resonates a whole lot more, realizing that like, you know, she's like starting over again with this girl, you know, because she feels like, you know, she would feel like she left her daughter behind, like, and like, I'm not going to leave you. And it definitely like, I mean, of course you should go back and save the child, but I think that once Newt disappears into the alien clutches near the end, and that's why Ripley's like, I mean, Ripley would just, she's going to die trying.
This is Lone Wolf and Cub, right? Like more or less like that story device, isn't it? Like I feel like we only ever really hear about it. Like obviously Pedro Pascal is like the poster boy for it now in terms of Mandalorian and The Last of Us, but like like I feel like I'm really searching my brain trying to think of another mother daughter Lone Wolf and Cub situation, and I can't. And it's like it's super fascinating to see it in the lens that they chose to go with.
Yeah, that's a good point. One that came to mind, but it's a man and a daughter, is Leon the Professional.
Oof, that one's a tougher one.
Yeah.
Also Logan. Kind of
Logan.
Man and daughter, yeah. Not daughter, but yeah.
Well, I mean, but I think
like a mom and daughter, yeah.
Exactly, because like I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong or I'm off base about any of this, but like the whole Lone Wolf and Cub thing is like this thing about like when a guy like bothers to like raise a kid or like take a kid on, it's considered like this like huge like character growth thing, as opposed to like societally we just take it for granted that a woman would take care of a child.
Mm-hmm. Well said, Khalid.
Thank you.
I know. Yeah, the more examples you guys added, the more irritated I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, are there any other examples of like a woman doing it? Well, Logan, no.
I mean, I can't sit here and think, but
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the other ones.
Like there must be.
There's gotta be, but I don't know.
At least none that are as great as this, anyway.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, because I feel like, you know, we had a whole movie of like, again, like Ripley didn't have a daughter in it as far as we know. It wasn't treated like it, and it's like we got to see her as just like an adult woman that was dealing with an adult problem that had nothing to do with her being a woman. And then we get to this one and we get that like background about her, and she gets to this point of like taking on this child as a responsibility thing, and it doesn't feel like it's just like a given that she would care about Newt. Like they still had to put in the work of like showing why she would.
I will say, I mean, I feel like I think having the daughter's scene in the extended cut is much better, but I don't feel like it feels, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like, I don't feel like she has to have lost a daughter in order to care about Newt in a sense. And like, not just because she's a woman and she would care, but I feel like the character of Ripley, in general, like cares, especially, I mean, that's like part of the reason why it's another reason why she goes along, in order to, she hopes they can maybe save some of these colonists, and like Newt's the only one. And and especially because it was a child who's been orphaned, and once she realizes that she lost her entire family, and
I guess, but at that point, it's like, why isn't it? What's Kyle Reese's character again? Michael Biehn, or
Michael
the
Biehn,
actor's
the
name?
actor Michael Biehn.
Yeah. It's like at that point, it's like, why isn't Michael Biehn the one that's like taking it upon himself to watch the kid? It's like, I think you did need to give Ripley a reason, but I don't think that it was a reason necessarily rooted in her femininity so much as it was rooted in her loss. And I think that was important because, again, I only have seen the extended, so I don't know how it played in the theatrical cut, but like being given that backstory in the same way that like a guy would be given that backstory of like, this is especially why they're protective of Newt is like, I think there's an egalitarian quality to that.
I also feel like she sees a bit of herself in her with the trauma, and like they both have nightmares, and she's able to talk to her about nightmares and monsters, and thought that was kind of a cool parallel.
She is actually only one of the only other ones I can identify with Newt in that sense too. I mean, yeah, kind of being the sole survivor kind of thing too.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit more, but I mean, I do feel like the daughter scene is probably, like her daughter having died scene is probably, it is essential. But anyway,
Yeah, certainly
the action.
Onto the action.
Sorry.
I guess I just talked about the theme that resonated with me. All went off on it, but it's a really important one. So
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to give that
Joe,
one some time.
What about you? What's the theme that resonated with you?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly feel like I'm kind of with Nicole on this one. I think that I feel like that's the most powerful theme that the movie's really trying to put forward, and I think it's probably the most unique element to it. Honestly, I am not a mother, but I am like a parent. So there are elements that I feel like I relate to, like even just like the small thing of like putting her down to bed in like the med bay, like what bedtime looks like with a kid. Like it feels more relatable in that sense, being a parent. So I just like, I felt like that was such a strong piece to this that was unique and just meaningful. And I appreciate all of that stuff. And I wanted to say this before we move on to anything else, just a shout out to the actor who plays Newt, Carrie Henn. Like she was phenomenal. And she retired from acting like before she even became an adult. She actually wanted to go on to become a teacher. So that's kind of cool. And that's what she does now.
Aww,
that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she was great. And I'm glad that she made it out of Hollywood okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, she still does conventions and stuff. So she's still involved in the fan base, which seems like a cool person.
Nice. Yeah. Thematically, anything stick out to you, Eric?
I mean, obviously that. And then that to me was like the core of the movie. I mean, it just clearly was.
Yeah, I mean, that's
the heart of it.
That's the big capital T theme. Yeah.
Maybe also, just the unknown, like having this like fear of like, you don't know what the hell is out there. And I think that maybe like is obviously like extrapolated from Vietnam style storytelling. Like being in the jungle, you don't know what the fuck is coming out. Like it's nighttime all the time. Like it's just this creeping sense of like you have no control and you are out of your element, fish out of water, and you have your crew, but like you're all ill-equipped to deal with, you have no idea what's coming. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's close to what I was going to talk about, which is like, I love that like we kind of go from like the competing interests of like the corporate versus working class in the first movie to now being the corporate versus the military class. I think that militarization is a tricky subject to talk about in genre in terms of like what you're trying to say. And it takes like a really like thoughtful approach to do it, which this movie really just aces. And the idea of like, yeah, now that you guys mention it, the Vietnam allegory of it all is so apt, because what these people are going through, and I keep coming back to Paxton because he just like encapsulates it so well, of just like the genuine terror from this guy that could not tell you why he's in that position in the first place. Like by all intents and purposes, like they got the warning from Ripley. They should have just destroyed the place like they were told. But because of the Paul Reisers of the world, they have to go in there and try to capture one of these things and make this exact same mistakes of the past movie, because the company, it doesn't have to learn a lesson. It has workers at its disposal, and it has military at its disposal, and it will throw everything else that it has at its disposal at it before it dares to learn a lesson. And I'm not optimistic that the rest of the Alien franchise succeeds with this like theme, but I do like that like these first two installments almost feel like The Wire for sci-fi, of just like, if you've seen the HBO show The Wire, like it's the whole point of it is that it's like showing you like the systemic issues in Baltimore, and they start with the police, but eventually they go into politics, and then they go into education, and they go into like the docks for a season, and like they really just show you how it's like these systemic problems don't necessarily like have any one root problem so much as that all the problems feed into each other. And to a lesser extent, but still an impressive one, Alien is doing that for the first two movies.
Yeah, 100%. And back to that, the politics thing, or the the struggle between the military and then like the corporation. I loved that scene when
with the rank.
When Paul Reiser is telling them like, no offense, maggot or whatever.
Yeah, grunt. Yeah,
grunt.
He calls him a grunt.
He's like, none taken.
Yeah.
And then Ripley's like, well, actually, judging by my calculations, this guy's actually in charge.
Right, yeah, because the colonel who's only had like 2 missions or whatever, a little lieutenant who gets like, I don't know, that was so funny, honestly. How like,
I've had 2,
it's all
counting
the chaos,
this one.
like Xenomorphs attacking, multiple people dying. This dude just like kind of Mr. Beans himself unconscious.
Oh yeah.
Just real weak shit, but I loved it. But yeah, no, like that whole pulling rank thing where Paul Reiser tries to like supersede them because he doesn't really respect even the military outside of like the firepower and muscle they provide, it's all telling. And it's just like these little snippets of insight in like amidst a buffet of violence.
Well said.
I've got one final little fun fact before we monstered up. You ready for this? So there's a reason this was called Aliens and not Alien 2.
Is it because there's multiple aliens?
Yeah, you'd think, but no, it actually comes from James Cameron when storyboarding, writing Alien on a whiteboard. Storyboarding. Writing Alien on the whiteboard, and then during the meeting, and then writing a $sign after it.
Eric spoiled that for me yesterday. Talking about it.
Yeah,
I'm not following. What?
It's a great fact.
What? I don't get it.
He wrote the word alien and a $sign after it, so aliens with the $sign.
I think
this
was
he was promising the studio.
Yeah, money.
I mean, this apparently single-handedly saved Fox at the time, so
it worked.
Wow.
I mean, it sounds like he single-handedly saved Fox a couple times. Also, just to backtrack real quick, storyboarding is what James Cameron would go on to do with Titanic.
Oh my God.
Way to circle back.
Wow. Who's got the lame puns now?
I love that. I'm so happy, Blade.
My lame pun was a creative achievement, Nikki.
Not lame, but cringy.
I love it.
Cringy?
I love it.
Joe loves it, if that tells you anything.
Don't love it, Joe. Don't.
This might be my favorite moment on the podcast for you.
Oh, I couldn't let it go, and now I so wish I did.
Oh, yes.
You're in it now.
If you guys ever
trap.
Whatever, I'll stand by it. I like it.
This is going in the greatest hits whenever you cut up like an end of the year, best of the year.
Oh yeah.
Episode.
Oh yeah.
Is this what a pitch in a perfect game feels like?
I think so. Should we monster then?
Let's monster.
Okay, so I was trying to construct this segment differently than we did our last one, since it's arguably we're dealing with the same kind of monsters. But I kind of have the Queen is the big addition, and we'll talk about that at the end. But I kind of wanted to go through the life cycle just to briefly again, because the production team here added different and slightly new touches to them, and I just wanted to point those things out because H.R. Geiger did not come back for this film, and it's not because he didn't want to, but he was apparently contractually obligated to do Poltergeist 2, and Fox was not allowed to negotiate with him because of that. So he was pretty bummed, but he was replaced by Stan Winston, legendary VFX icon for this one. So we have the eggs look pretty much the same. The face hugger design remained mostly faithful to the original Alien design, but they did make the appearance a little bit more organic. They gave they elongated the legs a little bit, tried to make the legs feel more finger like. They even kind of like made like knuckles on the and fingernails on the end to make it almost look like a hand. They actually it required 9 operators to fully articulate the face hugger when they had to do kind of like the close-up shots. So it was a pretty intricate piece.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. And the chest burster was a little bit different too. We only see it briefly in this movie. Winston added arms to it. They did not have arms in the original version. And his thought was that the arms would be there to like drag itself out of the host's chest in a sense to come out. They did use 2 chestburster puppets for this movie, a reinforced one and an articulated one for movement. There was a puppeteer that punched the first one through a fabricated latex foam chest, and they actually had to do it in several takes because they couldn't pierce the clothing at first. But that's the big addition to the chest burster and the other one. So in this movie, they call them alien warriors. They're like just the regular xenomorphs. But they, in this movie, were played by dancers and stuntmen in the kind of like lightweight costumes that allowed them to move quickly. They also used mannequins for aliens that were like contorted into human poses for like background. The design of it was pretty much, I'd say, pretty faithful to the original Geiger design overall. I think it's pretty easy to tell. But interesting kind of like filmmaking technical standpoint, we do see quite a few, but there were only 12 suits that were actually made for it. There were parts where they use like black leotards with like foam to like do like kind of some background moving shots. So if you look like in the very background, like it's just someone in black. And this was a kind of a fun fact I read from the actor Carrie Henn, who played Newt, that she said she was kind of like buddies with all the actors who played the aliens, the dancers and stuff. So she had a little bit of tough time like acting afraid of them sometimes. So I thought that was kind of a nice like element that she had a fun time on set.
She wasn't traumatized.
Yeah. But they did also so one of the things that they did for the design that they changed slightly was they just extended the arms and kind of filmed often with the arms being like hung from wires or from like weird positions to just make it feel a little more inhuman. Really like add on to like Ridley Scott's initial idea of not wanting to feel like a guy in a suit kind of thing.
Yeah, I felt like some of the shots, they looked like they were kind of, when they were running on the walls or the ceiling, they were kind of just like flying, you know?
Yeah, they're faster. They definitely make them look fast in this one too. I love the shot in the first one where the aliens like curled up and like sleeping on the escape pod. I love how they kind of have similar shots to that in this movie, where like when they're walking through like level 3 that first time, all the Marines, and you can just see them like slowly moving in like those curled up like positions where they're whatever sleeping or resting. Like that's such a creepy element to the creatures that I just love that like visual element to it.
I did notice like the absence of Geiger watching it this time. I don't know. I think it's just that like he also had a little bit to do with the set design in the first one, right?
He had a lot to do with the set design, like the whole like space jockey ship and all like the tubes and all the stuff, like the symbolism and like just the set and the background pieces. It's just not quite there. Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like I felt like there were times when like it felt very like the production design felt very Star Wars, and it didn't hurt the final, like my final takeaway of the movie or anything like that, but it felt more collage like as opposed to a uniform vision in the first one. design wise, at least.
Yeah, I think that's apt. I mean, this like has a definitely more grander epic scale too, like more akin to a Star Wars type thing. Like it's a bit more of a sci-fi kind of epic. Yeah.
I mean, that opening shot when they're docking her shuttle felt like it looked like something straight out of Star Wars, like one of those like Star Destroyers or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Docking.
Yeah, but I thought that when that mining family had they were in that little rover and they pulled up to that ship when they found it, that was really cool. Like that craning up and you see this massive like object and it's just so big, and just the design of it was really cool. I mean, I think they kind of recreated that in Prometheus. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was really cool. I got to give a shout out to the design of the rover. It might have been the same rover, but like the one that Ripley like busts through the station with.
Oh yeah, I mean, that looked like, it kind of reminded me of the Batmobile from the Nolan movies.
Or not Burton. Is it the Burton ones?
No, I was thinking Nolan ones.
The Nolan ones, okay.
And also our friend Alex Stein, who we watched with last night. We watched it with him and his wife Andy Erickson, and he had commented that it looked like a Tesla truck.
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of does. Wow.
Which I would not be surprised to find out they stole the design from this.
Of course.
But no, yeah, like that. It was a really exciting like sequence there. So like, it's not that I dislike the production design or set design or anything like that. It's just that like it never felt as cohesive as that first one did.
Yeah, and Geiger's just so unique. It's just hard to really match.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so anyway, the big addition to this film that I think we have to touch on for this segment is the Queen. Mm-hmm. The Queen, kind of inspired by like, they were really doubling down on that, like that sort of insect kind of colony, like beehive mentality of for the creatures. So Stan Winston describes like Cameron's initial Queen design as like a combination of like a praying mantis meeting a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And the goal was to try to extrapolate Geiger's like alien design, the xenomorph design, to create something large and powerful that was also swift and like kind of specifically overtly female. He described it as hideous and beautiful at the same time, like a black widow spider. So to kind of put a picture to it, like the Queen is elongated, large forearms with smaller secondary ones underneath. But Stan Winston redesigned the legs for the alien to adding like a double joint to make it look just a little bit more inhuman. And the final Queen itself was a 14-foot puppet made of a lightweight polyurethane foam. They actually had to have two people inside it to control the arms. The legs were controlled by like rods connected to the ankles, and a separate person moved the tail around with a fishing line. They had like animatronics and kind of like motors to control the movements of the head itself.
I would really love to see footage of that.
Yeah, it's wild.
That is so cool.
I loved the reveal of it, like that slow, she starts looking around, you see all the eggs, the slow turn behind.
Like pouch, the sack.
The
eggs come out.
Disgusting.
That sack, I was not expecting that sack. It was a lot. And they did a really good job of like just like lingering on it long enough that you see like the fertilized or unfully like developed eggs inside still. And then like it just goes up to her and it's like it's vestigial or whatever. Like it's very much like because they do cut it off, but like it doesn't look like it's a part of her, but like you also believe that she could like produce like that kind of thing out of her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love the shot too. Yeah, when she detaches it,
and I'm sure that that Futurama was inspired by this. But do you guys remember like the Willy Wonka-esque episode they did where they go to the Slurm factory in Futurama?
Oh yes.
And then like you find out what Slurm is at the end, and it's just like a giant like slug queen that just like expunges out of like her end into cans, and it's just slug juice. It reminded me exactly of that.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah.
I like the head of it too. It kind of, you mentioned the T-Rex, but it looked almost like a Tyrannosaurus Rex head. Like it's got this big like crown which is so cool.
And no disrespect to Stan Winston, but I only got the horrifying part of it. Still searching for the beauty that he was going for.
Yeah. No, it's a cool design overall. Like like you're saying, Eric, the shield on the head, like that, just it's different from like that kind of long, smooth thing that we get from the warrior aliens. It's cool and distinct.
Also, she's a lot more intelligent than we had a discussion about this last night when we were done, and I'm like, I feel like the aliens are smarter in general, and I guess you could just say it's just the queen, and so we'll just focus on her. But I just felt like
she knew how to take an elevator.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, that elevator. We were all yelling about that.
Like, I know we're not going to do Four-Bears test, but I was like, I feel like regular, or like the first Alien and Alien maybe could have passed the Four-Bears test, but acid blood aside and all that jazz, but like the alien queen in this one, like, no way. She's way more sentient.
Yeah, I liked how she paused. Like, they had a little standoff where they're both looking at each other like, hey, I could kill your guys.
Oh, she was like, who are you calling a bitch?
Yeah.
Come at me, bro.
No, it was two mothers that have lost their kids in a grudge match. It was very much felt like they knew what the stakes were.
Yeah, I think in terms of like background VFX, we also got to point out the mech suit too.
Yeah,
like it's not a monster per se, but there's a lot of work that went into constructing that. It was very heavy. It sounds like they actually had to have somebody like in a suit that would blend into the scene, that they could kind of like digitally like erase. What do you call it? Like black suit or whatever. Like a skin tight suit, and who had to like actually stand behind and help like physically move the elements of the mech suit while like Sigourney Weaver was in it.
I mean, yeah, that thing did not look like it was easy to operate.
No, but it was super cool.
It was amazing, and it actually like moved in a way that didn't feel like hokey even by today's standards.
No, it seems fitting, and the noises and the effect behind it they fit really well.
Yeah,
I will say though, I feel like in real life, like if we're imagining these as real, like a real mech suit that works like that, and the alien, the queen, I think the queen would have easily just stabbed her through the chest with the leg or with her tail right away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. The tail is like it's overpowered. You know, it's like an extra arm, but it's also a knife.
Yeah, and it's like 10 feet long.
That totally reminds me, like speaking of getting stabbed by the tail, we haven't even talked about Bishop.
Oh man, no.
Bishop rules. Pip was right. She kept saying that was her favorite android, and I was like, I'm excited to see. Bishop rules. The 5-finger fillet at the beginning. Again, I am Bill Paxton in that moment. I don't care if I know he's an android or not. You force your robot hand onto me, and then you just start dancing knives around.
And his friends got him in a chokehold.
And you pricked yourself, which means I could have gotten pricked. Like,
fun fact: in real life, he actually had nipped Paxton's pinky a little bit.
That's not a fun fact. That is
an unfun fact.
Awful fact. I sympathize for poor Bill. God rest his soul.
Just a little nick.
No. I'm sorry. That's horrifying. I don't care if it's a cool trick.
But yeah, Bishop rules.
Oh yeah. What'd you guys think of Bishop, Eric?
Oh, I mean, he rules.
Nikki, do you concur?
I do concur. Bishop rules.
I just was so impressed with like the whole they came back to him, and it was almost like really, I was so happy to see him, and you're like, wow, he's still out there. Like, he fucking stuck his neck out there, and he's like, hey, I remember there's a quote too where he was saying, like, before they sent him out on the mission, he was like, when he offered to do it, he was like, hey, I may be like artificially intelligent, but I'm also not an idiot, and like, I'm afraid, like, I know I might die out there.
Yeah, no, Lance Henriksen especially, like, he's one of those actors that's just been around my whole life in like random things.
He's in so many things.
Yeah, I'm seeing here he was in Pumpkinhead, which I didn't even realize.
Yeah, he was Pumpkinhead. Yeah, he was the farmer.
Which, yeah, now that I think about it, like, of course he was, but like, he was in so much stuff, and he is just reliably awesome, like a really great like character actor. He's
a genre staple too. Like he's in like so many random like B movies and VOD, like direct to video things where they'll get him in for like, I don't know, 3 minutes for something and just put him on the poster. Like he's one of those kinds of guys. So probably a ton of credits.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Go
so
Lance.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
And he's still alive. Good for him.
Yeah, he's still doing
Good
work.
for him.
Well, 83. That's impressive. Go Lance.
263 credits on IMDb
As an
Dang.
actor.
as an
Wow.
actor.
As opposed to...
I mean, they're produced, directed, all
I
this
don't
other
know.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, like those are the acting.
Whatever.
credits.
You know what? It was impressive when I said it, and then you like clarifying made it like weird.
Wow.
We were talking about him as an actor, so I assumed when you mentioned the credits, it would be acting related.
No, actor with a capital A and,
Actor.
and like an accent mark
Yeah.
above the O.
No, I mean he's
Yeah.
like still not as impressive as what's his name again from Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's also in Big Trouble in Little China.
James Hong.
Yeah, James Hong, obviously. Like those, that's real numbers. Sorry,
He's like
Lance.
90.
Is it only 90?
No, I mean he's like 90 or
Oh,
something.
he's like 90. Yeah,
Lance has
but,
got some
like,
time left to get there.
He's got 7 years to catch up to him. Yes.
yeah. They'll get there. Dude.
Oh, yeah, okay, 453.
Yeah. Oh my God. 453.
Acting credits for James
Actor.
Hong.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
James Hong is. Yeah, no, those are the real numbers. That's the heavy. hitting
Okay,
numbers.
What
is
an
that
icon.
high? Is that higher than Samuel L. Jackson? Because I heard he's like one of the top. He's been in the most movies.
Okay.
I could be
No,
wrong.
I don't
Okay,
think.
last one.
I don't. I don't think Samuel Jackson's is higher. I'm guessing.
I can't
But it's
imagine
also
it is.
he didn't come to acting until much later in his life. Like
Oh yeah.
there's a reason we don't see. Like it's not like Lawrence Fishburne where we
Oh man,
see
he hasn't
him
even
at
broke
age 14.
200 yet.
Yeah,
What is
but
it?
he
Really?
also
Wow.
started in his
199.
40s.
Oh, he's real close to 200.
I mean, he's
Again.
not there yet though.
What is the scale though? Are we doing this on a curve? Because James Hong was doing this shit for like decades on decades, and we only got Samuel L. Jackson basically in mid 40s on.
No curve.
No curve? Okay.
No.
Well, you're the scientist here.
Yep. I have spoken.
Official stance.
Fair
Okay, I have a
enough.
quick question. Which maybe it's not quick, but which stage of the xenomorph is the scariest in your opinion?
The scariest? Like, wait,
Yeah, like
scariest in
which
terms
one
The
do you
life
like?
cycle.
Yeah,
Oh,
of the life cycle. Like which one?
Right, but like,
Would you-
do you mean like which one would I like not want to face, or which one just like gets
Terrifies
the bigger
you.
like terror out of me?
Yeah, B.
Okay, for then the face hugger easily.
I was gonna say
Especially
that.
the
Jesus.
nurse, the
Yeah.
nurse
God.
bay, the nurse bay scene. Fuck
Oh
that,
my God!
fuck
And they're
that.
banging on the windows, and it's like silent. You can't
Why
hear
did they
them
not
close.
kill Paul Reiser right after that? They let him. They
Yep.
let him live to
I
betray
don't
them one
know.
more time after that.
I pretty much said that. I was like, mm-mm,
Bro.
like it was over as soon. Especially once she like threatened him, I was like, God, as soon as you threaten him, you gotta kill him.
Bill Paxton was us in that scene too, right? He was like, "You're dead, man. You're dog meat."
Yeah.
Bill
Yes.
Paxton, the realest to ever do it. Like, seriously, he just got all of the most human lines in this, and it's mostly rooted in fear, which probably says more about me than him. But that aside, like, yeah, he turned off the security camera. He like conspired the whole thing and let the facehuggers loose to do this thing. Like he was going to kill them all in cryo, and none of that was put. Like they didn't even handcuff him to something.
Yeah, wild.
Insanity.
Why do you think I don't like spiders, Joe? That's how they move. They move the same way.
Joe, are you like pro spider?
I mean, I'm not like anti-spider.
Then you're pro spider, Joe.
Yes,
It's black and white, dude.
I guess. Yeah.
What is
I'm
this
pro
political answer? you afraid of your numbers tanking in the polls?
Well,
Like-
maybe. I don't know. What are the fans gonna think? I'm
Fans are
fine
gonna
with
think-
I'm fine with spiders.
All right, Joe, you didn't answer. We all said face hugger.
Which part is the scariest?
Like I feel like whatever. I'd take on like once it's like a full fledged thing.
The-
I'd even take on the queen.
the chest
like,
burster is
whatever.
only scary because it's when it's inside of you, but like itself, like it runs away. So there, yeah, it's hard to say that one.
I mean, I feel like if it was inside anybody, I would be.
Oh, yeah,
I'd
once
be
it's
very
in you.
I'd be unhappy
I
about
guess
that
that's
for
the thing,
sure.
is the face hugger puts that inside you.
Yeah, like the fact of what it's doing. Like it, I think the face huggers just have so many layers that you can pull back that are so horrifying about it.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm with you guys. I think that's the most scary. Like
The way it wraps its little tail.
The tail.
Around your
I was just
neck.
gonna say that.
Ugh.
Yeah, like it chokes you, but like keeps you alive by like breathing
And they show
into you.
they show the tube thing that it sticks down your throat, which I'm really hoping is not genitalia, but it probably is just anatomically.
I think it's got to be.
That's so awful. That's
Yeah.
so awful.
Awful,
It's little face hugger dick, just like.
Isn't that the whole metaphor?
That's the point of it, kind of.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Like a violation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It
definitely
impregnates
like,
you.
Yeah, it's definitely a penis.
Yeah.
Let's call it a fertilizing tube because it is too upsetting to think about it the other way.
I guess we could call all penises fertilizing tubes. In a sense.
Fertilizing tubes, Khalid.
You're getting philosophical now, Joe? Now's the time you decide to do it?
I'll do it. I'll do it sometime.
I'm taking me and my fertilizing tube and packing up. I'm out of here.
Come on, you're teed up, Joe. Come on.
Speaking of packing your fertilizing tube up, Khalid.
Damn it, Nikki.
I have to live with him.
Yeah, I
have to earn points.
You win.
That worked,
All right. Speaking of fertilizing tubes, Joe.
This would be a point where I would go to fight or flirt. Are you fighting or flirting in this, Khalid, or are we waiting for another one?
You gotta wait and see, baby.
All right, that's fair. Can you tell our listeners, for those who may hopefully will eventually also tune into number one, but who may miss number one, why we're not doing fight or flirt?
Yeah, so Fight or Flirt, it's the segment that we usually do on non-Xenomania episodes where it's exactly what it sounds like. I ask, would I fight or flirt with the monster that we're talking about? And I am saving it for the end of Xenomania just because we are just talking about one creature more or less for the entire run of it. So I want to surprise the listeners with a metric that would make it a little bit more fun to talk about at the end of it all so that we have like the benefit of context throughout the franchise.
Okay, but I'm not going to be on the last episode, so I'm fighting, just for the record.
Yeah, what about you, Eric? Are you fighting or flirting?
Dude, you kind of have to fight. Like, flirting means you just...
Okay, so no romantics on this one.
No, not for me.
Yeah, love is dead. I hear you.
I mean, you're just going to let that thing impregnate you? That's the other option.
Well, as a feminist ally, I don't have a problem with like switching the roles like that. Okay, I could step up. I'm an evolved person, I guess.
I guess you could turn it around with the queen, but I don't know how that would work.
Well, you'll find out at the end of Xenomania how I think it'll work.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, could be the king.
Yeah. But yeah, we will not be doing it this time.
One more little fun fact. So I guess every day of filming, whenever somebody was going to die, like in the script, Sigourney Weaver would bring a bouquet of flowers for that person, that actor. But for Paul Reiser's character, or for Paul Reiser, God, I keep mixing this up. It's the end of the day. She brought a bouquet of dead flowers.
Oh,
suck it, Paul.
Salty.
Although everything I've heard about you is that you're a great guy in real life, but you're too good of an actor.
I'm sure it's a joke.
Probably a fun bit.
Yeah,
Just
but
for
no, he really was just like the perfect weasel for this one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
God,
A little
perfectly
side
cast.
note.
Yeah,
I will say I thought his coat jacket was sick.
and it's like he's so young, and like that just adds that extra dimension of like this little snotty asshole can't possibly have been alive for longer than like 25 years tops. Like he is the mouthpiece for this soulless corporation, and like has all this authority, and it's just like you irresponsible child.
Yeah. And as Eric said, his little jacket, like it was great, but it was so like unfitting, like next to all the Marines. Like it was a very fun, like his little
The
flannel,
popped collar thing.
The sport
It looks
coat
so
with
That's
funny.
what I'm talking
collar
about.
Yeah.
popped, like
Oh, that part, yeah.
Just go
Yeah.
jump off a cliff.
Yeah, it's great. But anyway, should we move on to our final segment?
Let's
do
do it.
All right, our final segment of the podcast is our What the Fandom segment, in which we go around and share a couple things that we're each into at the moment, whether that's watching, reading, listening to, what have you. So we usually let our guests go last, but we'll start with you, Khalid. What the fandom with you?
Thanks for asking, Joe. This week's What the Fandom is going to be the third season of the Hulu show, The Great. It is awesome. I am almost done with it, and I've definitely recommended the first season, maybe the second season when it came out. That's just how long we've been doing this now. But I love that show. It's such a great world. If you don't know about it, it's a loose adaptation about Catherine the Great, who married into the Russian royal family centuries ago, and she is like this ideologue who thinks that she can revolutionize the country and like bring all of these like Western ideals to a place that is very resistant to these ideals. And it stars Ellie Fanning and Nicholas Hoult, and they've just had this like amazing love-hate dynamic, and it's been so fascinating to watch for the first 2 seasons. And in the 3rd season, they do an amazing job elevating that tension and really digging into like why this like ostensibly on paper like hostile and toxic relationship, why it works for them. And on top of that, they're really digging into like this idea of like, if you really want to be like a catapult for change as a person in power, like you have to consider the fact that like you might be a part of the problem. And watching Catherine Ellie Fanning grapple with that is so delightful and gratifying. And the writers just they're on strike. Writers all across America are on strike, television and film. And I want to just bring that up to say that like shows like this, like you're not going to get that from AI. All right. So like these studios that are like trumpeting that as like the next wave or something like that, like I'm sorry, but like these are like the kind of like complicated and messy like human issues that you get from like just talented, dedicated folks. So solidarity to all of those on strike, and go watch The Great and other awesome shows written by human beings that actually bother to give you that messy nuance that makes life worth living. And Joe, with that being said, what the fandom with you?
Thanks, Khalid. And I just want to echo what you say. Support the writers for sure. My fandoms, I got 2 this week, Khalid. I know you always are the one with more, but I got 2.
Greedy Joe.
I got one big one and one kind of one that probably nobody's heard of. I wanted to shout out just because I saw it and I can't stop thinking about it. The Volume 3 of Guardians of the Galaxy. We just saw it like the other day, and I am so excited about that movie. It's been kind of like a little bit down on Marvel recently. I know we've talked about this before, but it really it got me excited about the universe again. It's such a fitting and like poignant conclusion to those characters. It's just like, as a person too who's big into like sci-fi and like space operas, like it's right in that wheelhouse, and like just the kind of unique weirdness that James Gunn can kind of bring to a property and is really on full display. And it's got a lot of heart, packs a lot of emotional punches, and I was just really impressed with it. I think Khalid, I texted you the other day about like watching Aliens, and just like how there's like a joy to like watching these movies from the 80s and like the 70s, and like the sort of scrappiness of it, and like putting it together like something that's practical on screen and fun to watch like that. And I kind of got a little bit of that joy watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as well, just knowing like all the prosthetic work that went into creating all these strange creatures that we see. I know there's a lot of CGI, of course, but it's just like there's such a craft to it that I think was really, really amazing. And I'm just like still thinking about it. It's such a cool film. But I know Marvel doesn't need my recommendation, but I did really enjoy that movie.
Well, one sec, actually, Kevin Feige's calling. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll tell him. All right, bye, Kev. Yeah, he said thank you so much for the plug, Joe.
Good. I'm glad he felt that. It came from the heart. It's from the heart.
What a great guy.
Yeah, nice dude.
Good
nice
guy, Kev. Yeah, he always
Loyal
calls
listener.
at the worst time, though. Like, I literally texted him, I'm about to record. So
I recommend to the listeners too to follow him on social media, because I sent some of these to Khalid where you can James
Gunn, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, James Gunn, not Kevin Feige. Even greater guy, honestly.
That's right. This is a DC house.
Let's go, The Flash.
Oh no!
The movie.
No, not even as a joke.
The movie, not even about the Flash.
Joke.
No, but if you follow him, you can see a bunch of cool behind the scenes about Guardians of the Galaxy. Like there was one that I particularly thought was really cool, where they had Peter Quill like holding his own body, or no, it was
Oh yeah, the dummy.
Well, yeah,
I saw
first it
that.
was Karen Gillian holding
Yes.
the lifeless body.
It's
and
like a
then
10-pound body, but it looks so real. It looks just like him, and
Yeah,
it's just
when she's carrying
so
him
cool.
in that opening scene. Yeah, it's from that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, it's so many interesting things. And James Gunn is like pretty open about the behind the scene process, so it's kind of fun to see like what he's able to like explain to people like on Twitter or something, just like randomly like, oh, we did it this way, and it's kind of a cool of a director to do that.
Yeah.
And let me just insert myself here. Another James Gunn film that I think you guys have to do, and that I've been bugging Khalid about for a long time, and you got to have me if you do it, is Slither.
He's booking himself.
It's
Oh,
Slither,
Slither is
dude.
yours for sure. Yes,
Dude,
we'll have
thank
you
you
on for
so much.
Slither. Yeah,
Yeah, that's like a Babe Ruth calling his shots. Kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, just booking yourself on air.
I mean,
Yes.
you guys won't, so I got to do it somehow.
we will do it, and it'll be Eric's. Yes.
Thank you.
My second fandom that I did want to shout out, I just finished a movie on Tubi, one of my favorite platforms, called Arena from 1989. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that, but it's this weird little obscure sci-fi film about an intergalactic, like basically mixed martial arts fighting tournament where like aliens from all across the galaxy will fight each other, and no human's been in it for a long time. And there's a human guy named Steve who decides to start fighting in it.
I just wasn't
yeah.
expecting Steve.
Let's go, Steve.
I know. And he just like, it's like a Rocky story with Steve, but it's all these weird, cool aliens, like prosthetics and like alien monster designs. And like the kind of the bit about it is like, they go as when they enter the ring, there's like computers that like either decrease or increase the strength of the two fighters. So they're on level, even though they're from different like civilizations that might be wildly differently powered. So like, they have these like little like silly cheats to make it work in a sense, but it's fun because like sci-fi fans will recognize a lot of familiar faces. There's Mark Alamo and Armin Shimmerman from Star Trek Deep Space Nine both have prominent roles in the film, and Claudia Christian, who's in Babylon 5. So like some recognizable like genre faves are in it, and it's just it's very silly, very campy, but a whole lot of fun with just a ton of cool like creature effects.
This is before Mortal Kombat?
I 89. So I mean before the Mortal Kombat
yeah.
movie for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Cause like I feel like for like the first like part of it was just Mortal Kombat you were describing.
Kind of. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, like a sci-fi version. Yeah. It's super fun. Yeah. So I would recommend that on Tubi. I did see the Blu-ray label, or the movie label Arrow Video is releasing a remastered Blu-ray version of it this year. So I'm pretty excited to get that and make everyone watch it. So
Nikki, you're getting
yeah.
more DVDs.
I guess there's space on his shelf still.
There's space. Anyway, so yeah, those are my fandoms. How about Nikki? What's the fandom with you?
Thanks for asking, Joe. I've also got two. Praska's coming in with the doubles.
You Praskas, take and take.
My first one's a book. It's called The Disordered Cosmos, A Journey into Dark Matter, Space-Time, and Dreams Deferred. It is by, hopefully I'm going to say this mostly correctly, Shonda Prescott Weinstein. And she is a Black self-identified queer woman. And she is a physicist. She's one of fewer than 100 Black American women to earn a PhD from a Department of Physics. And so I haven't finished the book. I'm in the middle of reading it. I'm kind of still at the beginning, but she kind of dives into the world of theoretical physics and also discusses its historically being known as like a white man's kind of sphere of knowledge. And so entering that space as a Black woman and just sort of, advocating for how anybody and everybody from all walks of life can experience and understand the wonders of the universe and the night sky. And anyway, I'm excited to continue with it, but I just wanted to shout that out. And my other one is a podcast. Joe knows I've been like binge listening to this. It's a really nice way to just kind of go to and from work or anywhere I have a long drive. It's called Sitcom D&D. And so it's a D&D podcast, but I don't know. It's almost more of a sitcom podcast that's like set like in D&D instead of the other way around. So it's pretty episodic. And, there's dice rolls but it's definitely feels like a sitcom. I mean, I feel kind of the same way you feel like when you're watching a sitcom, like those people have become like, you feel like you're part of their friend group, and I feel like that kind of comes out here. And it's just some of it's just like kind of stupid humor, but I don't know, it's grown on me, and yeah, I've just been like blasting through it. So Sitcom D&D, find it wherever you find your podcasts.
Hell yeah.
And Eric, what the fandom with you?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Nikki. I'm gonna have to stand. Well, first of all, I'm doing this to one up Khalid, and also just to show unity and support for you two, for the Praska family. I have first off, my first one's a book as well. It's Mickey 7, which is a book by Edward Ashton, and I really enjoyed reading that. It's a novel, and Bong Joon-ho is turning it into a film, and that's why I picked it to read. And it's just a really fun sci-fi book about this character who essentially he kind of, his body is almost an avatar where he uploads himself, and then they use him on these dangerous missions where he can die. He's like the one replaceable person on this ship that's traveling interstellar to go populate a new planet. And it's just a really cool, fun book. I would say that the writing isn't perfect, but I'm just really excited to see what Bong's going to do with that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Bong Hive, rise up.
Let's go. And then the other one, of course, is Evil Dead Rise, which is so dope. Really fun, like lots of cool practical effects. I'm sure the fans of the podcast will love that. And it's just, they're returning to the fun, over the top deaths and like possessions and really cool, fun action scenes. So definitely check that out.
Thank you, Eric.
Great Rex all around.
Yeah. One too many from a few, but
Wow.
Coming from you.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm the only one that kind of came sliding in with a conservative 1 recommendation this week, so I get to have my high horse. But yeah, no, really great recommendations all around. Friendenstien's. I almost
You have trouble with it now too.
Because of you, Joe. Anyways, Friendenstein's have a lot to check out thanks to our awesome guests and me and Joe. So you're welcome for that. But thank you for listening to another amazing installment of the XENOMANIA series and the Frankenstein's podcast series in totality. I don't know why I'm talking like that. But yeah, we look forward to having you guys listen to our next episode, which will be Aliens 3. So it's gonna get messy. I know I'm gonna get real messy. I might be on David Fincher's blacklist after, but I gotta speak from the heart, and I will. But until then, creep it easy.